Neil and Chris Barnes.
Oh, the late kick.
Got the little break in the fourth.
O'Neal, a 201-169 winner over Tommy Jones. And then the last match, he had 8 strikes, 2 sets of ham bones, and a 257-224 win over Pete Weber.
2 4-baggers?
I said 2 ham bones, didn't I?
2 4-baggers?
Yeah, 2 ham bones it was. Here's Barnes in the first.
At lunchtime, it's 54. By 2 o'clock, it's mostly just cloudy skies and 56.
Whoa.
Holding in the mid
Anyway, yuck. That
cloudy skies at 6
went
o'clock.
right off the
and
mark
55
there. 1, 2,
degrees.
3.
And it's really been a very greatly a huge range
look
in
at Barnes'
temperatures
effort there.
depending from the northwest to the southeast. Along the shore,
Barnes told me his objective here at the World Series of Bowling to stockpile as many shows as possible. Here's Chris on last season.
Last season was kind of a tale of two cities almost. The first half was really a struggle. I made the first show, but I still don't know how. Didn't bowl well at all the next 7 weeks. Was never really particularly close to making a show. And then worked with Mark Baker a little bit, got things straightened out, and then made 7 shows in the second half, and maybe had my best stretch ever on the PBA tour. Came down, had a couple of shots, and maybe 1 8-pin cost me a U.S. Open and a Player of the Year. So there's some positives and some negatives to take back on it, but the goal is to build on that season and make this season more of a no doubt Player of the Year season.
Made 8 telecasts last season, tied with Wes Malott for the tour lead. Malott for Player of the Year.
Barnes just a
And Rob, that looked like a much better shot on the left lane. It looked like he forced it on the right lane. Chris, a very heavy rolling player. And a lot of times when he plays that deep inside line, he struggles. He needs to learn how to tip it just a little bit more. But you know what? Let's ask Chris himself what's going on with the roll pattern. Chris, what do you see with the lanes and how they're breaking down out there?
Well, the guys playing in earlier took a little while for it to develop, and it looks like it's getting a little bit better for them, but right now I'm still not seeing it the right way.
Barnes open frame, spare so far. Here's O'Neal working off an opening strike.
You can't hide what makes NJM Insurance so great. Although some may try.
O'Neal just high.
High 3-6-10.
Well, you hear Bill O'Neal saying stay aggressive. He wants to keep his ball speed up to keep it on line. Just gets a little soft with that shot. Goes through the nose, only leaving the 3-6-10. When I say only, it could have been a lot worse.
Help you keep moving towards recovery. Sublocade continuously releases the medicine buprenorphine all night with no ups and
Didn't like it. Takes care of the 3, leaves the 6-10.
We saw Tommy Jones miss that exact same spare in the first match against Bill O'Neal. Never gets it far enough to the right and chops the 3-pin right off the 6-10.
This would be a good test for O'Neal. He's had some problems on TV. He gets there, and then kind of his mind sometimes gets in the way every once in a while when he hits a roadblock. So here he is, a strike and an open frame. What can he do here in the third? Big strike there for O'Neal. He said earlier he loves to compete versus Walter Ray, but who are his idols?
When I was growing up, it was Pete Weber. I love watching him bowl. I mean, I just love the intensity and everything about him on TV was great. Now that I'm out here, Chris Barnes is the person I look up to the most. He gives me a lot of advice, and just watching him and just how versatile he is and just how good he is just a standard I like to set myself to.
There is Barnes, bottom of the third. Again, leaves the 10.
And what a big move Chris Barnes just made. Does not like the look from the inside part of the lane. And according to our Cats numbers, he's moved a good 20 boards to the right. Started off at about the 27th board. That last shot was 7th board. It's a big, big move.
Barnes still in pursuit of his first strike.
And get 500 casino spins instantly on a featured game. Plus, all players get a bonus every week. The crown is yours.
The Marian Anderson Museum recently opened its doors after
He spent the
more than 4
offseason
years
working a
of
lot on some
rebuilding
balance
the
issues, some
And this
physical
new
triggers
exhibition
that
will
have
welcome visitors
gotten in
back
his
to
way in
China.
some of those TV
In
shows.
this week's 6 ABC Loves the Arts. Marian, the Philadelphia story, explores the late singer's life.
There's his first strike.
Barnes gets the first strike of the
And there's
match.
the versatility that Bill O'Neill's talking about. Being able to play the deep inside line and then all of a sudden moving 20 boards to the right and going as straight as an arrow. That takes talent. You've got to be committed to the change.
So Barnes gets his first strike and pulls himself back into this match. The conclusion of our semifinal tilt between O'Neill and Barnes when we return to Detroit.
And each floor, you will get this wonderful bit of history.
A room upstairs is dedicated to her mother, as well as Blanche Burton Lyles, who founded the museum in 1995.
Marian Anderson's protege and the world-famous classical concert pianist.
You can see some of the gowns Anderson wore for performances.
She called them her uniform. Marian Anderson was a phenomenon. The once-in-a-century voice could go from baritone to first.
She was billed as a contralto.
She wanted to use her voice to express herself, making barriers, using her voice.
We welcome you back. Our continuing coverage of the World Series of Bowling. It's the Motor City Open semifinals. Right now, Bill O'Neill still in pursuit of his first ever London Liquidators PBA title. And number 5
Yeah,
seed
they can, like,
is
jump to
already
the
trying to
heads.
dispatch number 2 seed Chris Barnes.
O'Neill
He
struck.
strikes in the 6th. While we were paying bills, O'Neill, an open frame in the 4th. And then in the 5th, leaves the 10-pin, single pin spare, steps up and picks that. Oh no, he didn't!
Oops.
Can't give Chris Barnes an opening like that. Here is Barnes in the 5th.
But he opened
That's what he did.
himself.
He had an open frame as well. In the 6th, he bounced back.
Left the 10.
The 9 spare. Both guys below where they figured they would be, but again, Randy, we've talked. These oil patterns have been ratcheted up a couple levels.
We are also in the midst of Philly Theater Week.
And there's the adjustment for Bill O'Neill
But that
going
time, O'Neill
to a different bowling
bumping
ball
at the
and
10.
backing up the 2 open frames with a double. Take a look at the numbers for Bill O'Neill from match number 1 to match number 2. You can see that he's trying to stay in the general vicinity in between 4th and 5th arrow. And what he's done is he's just changed equipment. Keeping the ball speed up, changing equipment, keeping that same line.
Strike for Barnes, just his 2nd of the match,
Oh,
and
second.
Barnes widely considered to be the best bowler in the world.
Well, it's flattering that guys think that I'm the best player in the world. Shockingly, they don't really tell me that. But, you know, I've worked hard and I've followed in the footsteps of the guys in front of me. It's been pretty obvious since I came on tour that versatility is a big key to being successful. And so whether you watch the Norm Dukes, the Walter Rays, the guys that have been successful for 20 years do a lot of different things. And so each year I just try and pick up something that one of these guys does a lot better than I do and try and get better at it.
Back-to-back jacks.
Barnes
Barnes told me
gets a
earlier his
double.
goals for the season, 4 wins, and I love this, the no doubt player of the year.
Let's take a look at the big move that Chris Barnes made early on. I mean, if you look at his laydown in the first frame, his laydown was at the 37.5 board. Remember, there's only 39 boards on the lane. He went from that to laying the ball down at the 10th board. Gigantic move.
Uno dos tres for O'Neill.
Keep O'Neill next to that 3-bagger.
Cuts the deficit to 3.
O'Neill hanging around. Again, there's that ball change, playing that deep inside line that he's comfortable with, that he's had success with all day. Looking to take the lead right here in the 9th frame. looking for a 4-bagger.
See what the two can max out at.
Just hit me.
Same hard. Make every meal exciting. At Wawa. Fresh flavors every time.
Blows up everything but the 10.
O'Neal left that stubborn 10
Get the ball
pin.
in play, hits the pocket, only to leave a flat 10.
This annual Rite of Spring brings a taste of Japan right here.
Maybe just a
Philadelphia.
pinch
The
wide.
beautiful pink blossoms are now in full bloom.
Remember, he missed a
yesterday's
10 pin
festivities
earlier in the 5th frame.
Today, people were parked.
Hey,
It felt
hooray.
like for miles around Piper's Theater to see that.
Yep, O'Neal spares in the 9th.
He doesn't miss that single spare.
Did he just get down on himself right there?
A little bit. And again,
today, a few showers roll through and that's it.
want to remind you, next week we're back here at Thunder Bowl for the Cheetah Championship. We present it in an interesting fashion. I'm really looking forward to this show, a documentary type look at the Cheetah Championship, behind the scenes, exclusive interviews. It's really entertaining. And then the following week, Sunday, November 15th at 1 Eastern, it is the Viper Championship. And on that show, the return of the women's series, Rhino Page will be bowling, as will someone you're going to want to keep your eye on out this season, Ryan Simonelli.
This is a create your own
Here is Barnes, bottom of the 9th.
Good morning,
Working on a
America.
2-bagger.
Next here on Channel 6. Action News continues at 9 o'clock. Now for Peyton Dodge, Karen Roberts.
Shaking your head right away, weren't you?
Caroline Goggin, we'll see you at 9.
Well, it looked left out of his hand the whole way, and
Barnes
so
the
sensitive
pine
out
to
that
3.
part of the lane. I mean, that's no man's land, and you better be accurate. A nice break there, only leaving the 3-pin. Chris Barnes had a chance right there to put Bill O'Neal away. Let's see if he lets him off the hook.
Closed captioning is sponsored by Rafferty Subaru. We
Wallace
support
on
Subaru
singleton
Love
spares
through the
this
Colorado
week.
Animal Center.
And that continues. So the three of them
Spare in the 9th.
over the course of the last 3 frames have been identical. Strike, strike, 9 spare.
All right, here's the situation. Chris Barnes leading by 3 can strike out in the 10th frame and shut out Bill O'Neal. Anything less, Bill O'Neal can get up in the 10th and win.
Team Nick. Thanks for letting me hang at your place this afternoon. No way it can be around my mom right now. You guys fighting? Nah, she's wearing some gross new perfume. Do you smell it? I just thought
Double wood, 2-8.
And fortunate the 10 pin's not standing with it.
Yep, Barnes
Chris
needed
Barnes
a
needs
double
to
on 8,
make
but
this
unfortunately lifted 2 8s.
fill the 10th frame. Force Bill O'Neal to double.
breakfast in mine. You're lucky I didn't dump it down your pants.
It's amazing in one game how you take 2 players that shot 257 and 223, and that was O'Neal and Pete Weber, and all of a sudden players are struggling to shoot 200, and that's just all about oil transitioning and the oil pattern just breaking down.
It's a nice lesson learning on my glass. How does she think of that? Because Carly's classy. Oh, and I'm not classy. Classy people don't clean out their pants with this.
And that's a really good spare.
Although Barnes sits
One of those
spared
tougher
in
than
the
it looks
10th.
type spares. As his wife Linda and twin sons watch.
Strike here gives him 183. Bill O'Neal can strike out to shoot 192.
We have people sending videos of themselves doing their coolest dance. I think, let's do it. We're pretty strong.
183 it is for your 2 seed. Chris Barnes does
Yep,
not like it.
183.
Well, that's a big shot, too, on his fill shot, because now that forces Bill O'Neal to double, because Bill O'Neal's down in count. If Chris would have gotten 8 on that fill shot, Bill O'Neal could have gone strike, spare, and won by 1 pin. So very big coming up
Yep.
with that strike.
O'Neal needs a double
O'Neal
and 2
needs
to advance.
and 2 to win.
Nope. Do not.
Barnes will move on to the title
Yep.
match versus Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Oof. Boy. Nip and tuck battle, but
So Neal
oof.
rolls out in the 10th.
Oof. That was a close match there.
Chris Barnes, a
You like
huge
and
move you
subscribe?
made from the first frame to the 3rd frame.